things just weren't right up in Canada. Random acts of violence were popping up like weeds, and the Northern Lights, well, they just weren't right. One night they'd be brighter than ever, and the next, gone. In Nunavut Bay, I overheard talk between Jean Bisson and his mysterious partner Arpeggio. Somehow, those two are behind it all. Tracking the source of the disturbance was easy. By simply following the lights, we were led north to an immense lumber camp. The sheer number of fallen trees advertised Jean Bisson's presence and that he was in possession of the clockwork talons. The Thieves Raccoonus makes numerous references to the talons slicing through plates of steel. A skilled lumberjack like Bisson could clear a forest in hours while wielding the artifacts. Those talons have got to go, both to finally do away with clockwork and to save the environment from his twisted sense of progress. The world just doesn't need to make space for another strip mall.
Sly Cooper and the gang? In! Menace from the North, eh? Welcome back to Sly 2, Band of Thieves. And indeed, welcome back to Canada.
Okay, so here's what we know. 1, Arpeggio's blimp is on its way to pick up a battery from Jean Bisson. And 2, the only way we'll get a crack at Arpeggio's clockwork brain is by finding a way to sneak aboard his blimp.
But before we do that, we'll need to snag the clockwork talons off Jean Bisson. Time is short and we've got a lot to accomplish.
True, but first things first. This lumber camp isn't on any of my maps. I need you to poke around and take some recon photos. They'll help to get my sensors oriented.
No problem. Recon photos I got covered.
In anticipation of the icy climate, I took the liberty of modifying your cane. It can now separate into 2 smaller canes, useful for ice climbing. Try ascending to the top of that sheet of ice. Just jump and hit the circle button to dig in.
We have a lot to get going, and we have at least one new way of doing so. Sly's cane can now split into 2 and we can climb these ice walls. Very nice.
It's good to see my cane upgrade perform so well in the field. Now scout the area. I could really use the reconnaissance.
This is a kind of reconnaissance mission that I really like, and I wish we would do more of these. Very early in the mission, obviously, it's the first mission we do, we run all over the place in order to get some reconnaissance photos. I like this because it's a really great way to introduce the area and get actually really quite well familiar with it before really getting into the action. It's something that I debated with myself when it came to collecting the bottles, because I kind of didn't entirely want to just speed it all up and play music, because I wanted to... Well, I'll get to that in a second. First we have sawmill blades.
Those saw blades look particularly old. I guess this logging camp has been around for a while.
But yeah, the reason I was hesitant on that in the beginning was because, well, I felt like collecting the bottles was really the best way to really get acquainted with the whole area, because frankly put, a lot of missions just didn't always take you all over the place and really show you how this place looked. But anyway, next up we have quite a... Oh, hey, dudes, go away. We have quite an interesting roof here to begin with. I can't really begin to understand the purpose of this, but more interestingly, this right here is a very special house.
Jean Bisson's house. The lair of the beast. The den of evil. The epicenter of ecological destruction.
And of course, most importantly, a treasure! Ha ha ha! I like... What in the world? I accidentally pressed L1 there for a second. Okay, well, we have 2 more photos to go. This one seems to be the most logical one. I'm going to try to avoid this bottle, thank you. Ooh, I like this one. It's just kind of a bear.
This place is bear country, all right. Interesting. He's putting out a slight radio signature.
Apparently 1 bear is enough to classify this as bear country. Or maybe it's just foreshadowing. Oh, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, I do know. I said I don't know twice in one sentence when that's actually complete bullshit, because I do know. I know everything, don't I? No, I don't. I do know, however, that over here's a boat.
Fascinating. My sensors detect a Wi-Fi link to that boat. It must be piloted by computer. Okay, that should do it. Now for the real point of interest. Head for that lighthouse and try to find a way to sneak in.
We have this big lighthouse here. I like this. This level, I'm not going to talk too much about this just yet because we're saving that for a little bit later, but if this level knows one thing for right, it's getting the landmarks, because here we sure have one landmark. We've already seen a couple other really interesting ones, and, well, you've seen how this place is. Anyway, going into the side here. We have, well, here's the man himself, but we're not supposed to be taking a picture of him just yet. First off, apparently not.
Just looking at that spinner makes me dizzy.
Really? In a photograph? I find that a little bit hard to believe, but here we go. Front door!
I was right. The entrance is barred from the inside.
Yes, with a whole chair. That's hilarious, to be honest. And, oh, a bit more ominously.
That's the battery charger, but where's the battery Arpeggio's coming to pick up? Might as well get a shot of old Jean Bisson.
Of course we should. I mean, he just looks good, doesn't he?
Oh, Sly, listen in. He's mumbling to himself.
Come on, Jean. You got it in you. Those lumberjack games need some more competition, eh? What would attract the participants? Bullseye! I'll post the Clockwork Talons as a trophy. That should bring in the competition. Although, who am I kidding, eh? I'm gonna win just like every other year. Oh, it's tough being this tough. It sure is, yeah.
Head back to the safe house. We need to talk about these lumberjack games.
Oh, it's tough being tough.
Well, guys, Jean Bisson has unknowingly thrown down the gauntlet. With the Clockwork Talons as a trophy, we'd be fools not to participate in his lumberjack games. Fortunately, due to frequent avalanches, a log chopping guide was frozen in a wall of ice not far from our position. Sly, you're in charge of acquiring the book. I'm sure it will prove invaluable. Now, we're all aware that Arpeggio's blimp is coming to pick up another battery. To sneak aboard without incident, I'd recommend we pull a Trojan horse and stow away inside the battery. However, the location of the device is still a mystery. We need some inside information. So, working together, you two will infiltrate the Moose Guard's secret RC Combat Club. Those guys all work in the lighthouse. If you win the battle, I'm sure they'll talk. Despite his antique mind, Jean Bisson's no fool. To keep tabs on him, we'll need to bug his house, steal the radio tags off local bears, and then jerry-rig them into a sensor array. It's a challenging set of tasks, and that blimp's on its way. Let's get to work.
We have a lot to do. So, Bentley said, let's just get to work. But while going over to this next mission, I just want to address something. And this isn't the first time this has come up, but it's just something that I came to think about right now. The reconnaissance photos. I assume that the idea is that you take photos around the place, and then those are the photos being shown in the fucking slideshow. And then it's just kind of assumed that Sly takes more photos, like, canonically, than you actually do in the gameplay. And that's fine. I'm perfectly fine with accepting that. But they've literally gotten photos from the future. Like, I don't get it. It's very strange. But anyway.
The wild bears in the area have been tagged with radio tracking devices. If you can snag enough of them, we should be able to set up a receiver array around Jean Bisson's house.
I'm always up for bugging someone's home.
The first step is crawling into that bear cave and stealing the goods.
I'm on it.
Now we'll finally know why this is called Bear Country.
The radio transmitters have all been tagged in their mouths. You'll have to sneak up and pickpocket it while they're yawning.
Sounds safe.
Stay clear of the thin, crackly ice. Walking on it is sure to wake the bears.
I'll keep that in mind.
Alright, we have a first part of a bugging mission here, and in order to do this right, We need to not bug the bears too much to wake them up. Hahaha! Yes, there are 6 bears, 6 chips to get. I really don't entirely... Ooh, let's go for the chance. Really? You had the mouth open and the blue and everything. Okay, yeah. Don't step on the ice. Don't bother the bears either. Like, this should be self-explanatory, and obviously it is. But there's nothing ever in the game telling you that you shouldn't bother the bears. Bentley doesn't tell you, and if you fail the mission, it doesn't say so either. It just says that you will fail this mission if you step on the ice or if you run. It sets off those 2 examples as if they're the only ones, when there really is a 3rd one, and I don't know, it's a completely stupid detail that doesn't matter in the slightest, and also how can stepping on the ice not make too much noise, but doing this doesn't? I don't get it. There's a lot of questionable choices in this. It also applies to, like, how in the world are these chips attached to their mouth, because they kinda look like human, like, the general shape of it with, like, little spikes in the bottom and everything. They kinda have this sort of toothish kind of shape. Just look at that. I can't help but imagine that they're kinda lodged into their gums in some way, and that we're just, I mean, I'd rather not think about it, to be honest, but it's really the only logical explanation I can come with, and I mean, I don't know why I'm expecting logical explanations to things with that, because that's not exactly the status quo we've set up to this point, but whatever. We just have the one final one left. There we go.
Only you could have pulled that off. Head outside and I'll fill you in on the next step. To form a receiver array, you'll have to place the radio transmitters in precise locations around Jean Bisson's base of operations.
Seems easy enough.
Once you're in position, hit the circle button to place the transmitter.
Once again, this is the kind of mission I really like doing early on in the beginning, because it's a great way to get acquainted with the area. As we have a few different goals to get to. First one being right over here. Just sort of placing these... Again, actually now I can get a good look at it. It looks like a tooth. It looks like these are the spikes that are like attached in the gums, and then these are the actual teeth part that you chew with. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it just kind of brings this weird thing about taking them from the bears that kind of makes me question how painless it's for the bears, basically. I mean, it's apparently not painful enough to actually wake them up, whereas just simply stepping on ice and making a little bit too much noise wakes them up, so I guess it can't be that bad, but I don't know.
Perk up your ears, boys. I'm gonna tell you all the tally for last month. The Blue Lumberjack team managed to clear-cut 128 acres of forest. Not bad considering they had to kill all them badgers to do it, eh? But now, the Gold Lumberjack team, bless their hearts, those boys chopped down 211 acres. Y'all hear that? 211 acres of progress. Almost brings a tear to my eye when I think about how much wilderness y'all obtained. Keep up the good work, fellas. Not long till we can start putting up those track homes. Yeah.
Gotta be honest, my TV's so quiet that I didn't actually hear a word of what he just said, but I'm sure it was good. Or something like that. I mean, not good because he's like a bad guy, but you know, good as in probably funny or something. Jean Bisson is a really funny guy, to be honest. I like him quite a lot, and I have a few things to say about him, but we'll probably get into that a little bit later. As for now, we have more important and pressing things to do. Pressing this down, I guess. I don't know, I was trying to make something out of that, but there probably wasn't anything after all, just looking for things that don't exist and just hoping for the best. There's one... Oh, shit, I might not have done this most efficient route, but whatever, I did it pretty well, I think. As if this is like, whoa, why did I take out the bear? Hey bear, help me out, thanks! Oh, this bear is actually pretty cool, because usually it just works in your favor. Usually, if you're just walking around and you suddenly feel a vibration in your controller for no good reason, seemingly, it's probably the bear running around and killing dudes. So it's pretty nice.
Nice work. The array's up and running.
And speaking of pretty nice, I think that's good enough work for now. Next time we have just a lot more work left to do once again, and I say we get right to that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you then.
It takes $1 to make $1, but I bought this here chainsaw and made me $100.